What's going on, y'all? This is Mike Brown, and I just wanted to say I hope you and all your loved ones are safe right now. Thank you guys for listening to the show and tuning into the show every week. I appreciate y'all so much for being on this journey with me. And also, if you like the show, please subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And also, please leave a comment. Let other people know what you think. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is Mike Brown. This is the Art of Letting Go.
Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown, and this is the Art of Letting Go. Today, I got a special guest in the building. One of the funniest people I know. Like, even before you was doing comedy, like, you still was just funny as hell, like, just being in school and shit. Can you let the people know who you are?
I am Papp Johnson, legend.
I agree with that. I do.
Thank you. That's my intro always.
That's what's up. Before we jump into the conversation, Papp, I wanted to bring me, you, and the listeners in the same space. So you can keep your eyes open or you can close them. But we're going to take 3 breaths together, and I'll guide us through those breaths. So,
okay.
Are you ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in one more time. And let it go. Yeah, man. Shit, I'm glad to have you here. Like, it's definitely been a long time. I feel like I've ran into you a couple of times out here, but I haven't really hung with you since. Like, I saw you at that comedy show. I was actually on a date that night. And he was very offended by like all the gay jokes. Like, he just was like not feeling it. I thought it was pretty funny, but but man, Papp, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm actually doing great, man. This is a beautiful time to be alive. We get to be a part of history. We get to, I feel like this is probably the freest time niggas been had in a long time.
You know what? I agree with you. And I've been saying the same thing because man, like, since this quarantine hit, it seemed like you really get to choose however the fuck you want to continue life after this.
Yeah. And that's like, I feel like that's what we've been fighting for. And, I think that's what everybody shoots for is the ability and the chance to live how they feel. So with everything being shut down and, having to stay to yourself, I feel like I'm able to sit down with myself and learn myself and figure out really what fuels me and gets me going. Cause it's like the days blend together. So
yeah,
like you could sit and be like, oh man, I'm just wasting time. Or you're not doing nothing. Or you could just like do whatever the fuck you want to. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And, you saying the days blending together, it feels like the days, like, it almost seemed like the days been blending together and like just the smoke in the mirrors was pulled back, but we just was filling it up with so much bullshit that you couldn't tell, this is just one long continuous ass day.
Yeah, man. I've been listening to Gary Vee at the beginning of the year. He be dropping a lot of gems. I know he a white man, but he be dropping a lot. Because his show shit is like, you got to change your mentality about yourself and your abilities. And people are always like, man, I don't got time. I don't got this. And he's like, bro, just do it. Like, do you want to spend 8 years working up to the shit you're trying to do? Or do you just want to immerse yourself in it now and you'll learn as you go? And then in the next 8 years, you'll be where you want to be at instead of waiting to start.
Yeah, man.
Real shit. He be on people's head. He be like, oh, what, you at your 9 to 5? And what, you look forward to happy hour? It's like, think about that. Work is so terrible that they literally invented something for people to drink immediately after work.
That's real. That's real.
So,
man, it's funny, because I feel like you've been on this shit. And I say that because I was thinking about you today when I was thinking about recording this shit. And I was like, man, I remember that time you came to my crib and I was making beats and I was so in my head about like just how the shit was going to sound. And you were just like, fuck that shit. Just make the shit and just whatever comes out of that shit just comes out of that shit. And now I feel that shit. And I understand it. Back then I was just so like, I kind of needed that validation in my life, and now I'm in a place of like, fuck it. But like, how do you feel like what had you there at that time in your life?
I feel like I've been like, I give a lot of credit to my my cousin / brother, John Michael, R.I.P. He passed when we was young, but for me, he was like a fearless nigga.
Yeah.
Even though young, he was very fearless. He was a tiny he was like a Russell Westbrook, like straight up like baby Russell Westbrook, but just fearless. So everything we wanted to do is just like, yo, we're going to just go attack shit. And when he passed, I was in a real dark place because that was my brother. And I was like young. I really didn't know how to process. I still don't know how to process. There's no way anybody knows how to process death
at all.
And, losing a loved one. So I lived in a not the best of areas, but I had a moment in time where it was like I was real sad and real like just angry, and I just like one day, I don't know if he spoke to me or whatever. It was just like, yo, you have an opportunity to be happy. You have life. And if you have life, then it is up to you to determine how you want to live it. And I wanted to be happy. Losing a brother, I had friends and I just wanted people to know that I loved them, because that's how I felt. Like I knew that nigga knew I loved him, but I knew that a lot of other people didn't really know how much I cared for them, how much I loved them. So I would hug people. I would tell them I love them. I would just like, we gonna have these good moments together. That way, if anything does happen, no matter what it is, we always look back on those good memories. So the best thing you can do is build as many good memories as possible.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing that, and sorry to hear about your cousin, man. It made me think about something that Byron Young told me, because when my grandmother passed, I asked him like, how do you get over the shit? And not necessarily get over it, but how do you get through it? Because I just felt like I wasn't going to get through it. And he told me, just create new memories. And yeah, man, that shit has really, it's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it, but at the same time, that shit keeps me going. Like it doesn't allow me to sit in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it's like, yo, you can spend the rest of your life being sad, and that's a sad ass life. I don't know if that's really what people want to do with their lives, but I feel like we are trying to be happy, and the truth is you have control of that. And I mean, I miss my nigga every day, but I'm also understanding that, yo, like, I have to be happy. I have to enjoy what I have, because you lose things, but there's so much other things that you gain. And, hadn't, met people and, been the person I am, we wouldn't be talking today.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's all I could really do is have these memories and create memories and good memories with people when I share the space with them. That's all I can do. That's all I need to do. After that, so be it. Man,
I appreciate you being here. I really do, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What makes you happy today, though?
It's going to sound funny. It sounds funny to me. Being the nigga that I am.
But it's so real. It's so real. Like,
Yeah.
I really, really been embracing that uniqueness and really wanting people to see that shit in themselves, man. Like, that's your superpower.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm in therapy right now.
Okay.
And that is one of the things that my therapist beats into me, which is show up for yourself.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, and it was good. It was very good for me to hear that, because I was in the session. Me and my girl was beefing. Is it still going? Okay.
Yeah.
My mom called. Me and my girl was beefing, and I was in the therapy session. I was just like hella mad. I was like, man, these motherfuckers got me fucked up. And he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He was like, you got you fucked up.
That's real as fuck though. Oh man.
Yeah. And he told me, he was like, yo, like, do you understand that you are giving other people the power to control you, because you're concerned about how they're treating you, blah, blah, blah. And the truth is you are tripping off of that because you don't show up for yourself.
Yeah.
So you live in, you're disappointed. He was like, you disappoint yourself. So you look for other people to bring you up. Now, when you start showing up for yourself, you're not living in disappointment. So now you can live with yourself. You can be happy with the decisions you made, and you don't care about really what anybody else has to say, because you can hear that and just be like, well, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know myself. I'm happy with myself. So it don't matter. And that shit was like eye opener, bruh.
Yeah. No, that therapy is real, man.
Yeah. So shouts out to Roland.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. As you talking and I'm listening to you, like, something that I think about is just where I knew you in your life. And it makes me curious to know, like, what advice would you give to your younger self about life?
Nigga, live it up.
Yeah.
Explore. Learn to, not be in control. Learn how to, go with the flow, but also, make good decisions. I know I've made some terrible decisions in my life. But that's how you learn. That is how you learn. And I mean, I would tell myself to network more in college, but other than that, I'm pretty good where I'm at. So, and it's funny, someone asked me last year if I could go back in time to like 15 years old or 10 years old and still knowing everything, would you go back? And I was like, nah.
Hell
and
nah.
And they was like, why? What? But you could do this? And I was like, nah, you don't understand. Like, nigga, it was so many times I probably should have been dead. It's like, do you not understand the circumstances? It's like, the percentage is not good. So,
right.
It's like,
and just knowing the shit, like, I mean, you kind of figure it out in those situations. So, like, knowing you might fuck up how the story goes.
Yeah. Game of Thrones. I don't know if you watch that. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Not really. Nah.
I advise every Black person to watch Game of Thrones.
Okay.
It's the best storytelling possible, but it speaks on politics and just human nature. But there's one person in there. She's the daughter of an ex-king or whatever. And everybody go through hella shit, right? And so she goes through hella shit, and then she's finally reunited with her family eventually, and she tells her family what happens. And they're like, oh, man, I'm sorry for what happened to you. I wish I could have stopped it. And she literally cuts him off and is like, yo, I'm not sorry, because if that stuff wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Man, that's the truth.
It's things happen, and you gotta take them, and you gotta realize what took place, and move forward.
Yeah, But not, for me, not even looking as far back as, 10, 15 years. I don't want to go back to pre-COVID. And that's on some real shit. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here today if I didn't experience them, them moments of isolation and loneliness and shit. Like it's to the point now where I understand if I feel too much pressure with everything, dropping all that shit and then rebuilding it slowly. Cause that's all we've been doing is like, fuck, you got this, you got this, you got this. And you just gotta completely stop, stop everything and then take on what was most valuable. So, I don't want to go back to normal, man.
I don't know. I mean, I got me a chain. It's thin.
Okay.
I'm living my best life. I'm like, how do I want to live? So,
man, that's real, man. How's the comedy going? And really, how has the transition been from, doing stand-up to now doing it virtually?
I would say it's not that different. It just it's hard to explain comedy because it's so many levels and it's so intricate with everything because like we watch as regular people, we watch the stand-ups and the specials and shit that's on TV. And we like, oh, that's comedy. That's what it is. But the actual nature and business of it is like, it's so many like overseas leagues and and minor leagues and minor leagues and fucking just sad shit. But
kind of like music.
Yeah. You know, how like it's like niggas that be rocking arenas, but then it's also motherfuckers that do like smaller venues, but then it's also niggas that just do open mics.
Yeah.
And do live shows, and the niggas that do the get on the train and be like, hey, everybody, I just want y'all to listen up for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm about to do a song. So for that, but the truth is I love all of this shit because it exposes everybody to show their heart. Do you want it?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Are you really a comedian, or are you somebody who waits for opportunities to be given to you in order to showcase yourself? Because at this point in time, we can't go to clubs and you can't do anything, but you could be in your house writing. You can literally drop a set on your Instagram or your Zoom or your OnlyFans or whatever you got. And you can start building your fan base up because everybody's being held captive in their homes and they're looking for entertainment.
Dog, I swear, and I feel like I say this every episode, but I feel like I have to say it so people really understand what the fuck I'm saying. This nigga Diddy did a fucking State of the Union on Revolt with fucking Zoom cameras. A whole TV show. Killer Mike shit was all in his face, and like anybody, like we all are at the same playing field right now, man. We all at the same level. So it's like, why not take advantage of that shit?
Because we've been trained to be workers. That's the truth. We are trained to be workers, not I don't want to say entrepreneurs, but that power. This shit I talked about earlier. You gotta understand your power that you have in yourself in order to even push yourself to drop some shit independently.
Yeah.
Without somebody else telling you like, hey man, this shit gonna be a good look, or oh bruh, I love your shit. It's like, that's the scary part. Motherfuckers want the notoriety and the praise, but that comes after the work, after doing the work hella times over.
Right.
With no one seeing you. And that's what I'm really loving about myself right now, is that I'm still willing to put the work in, because this shit, it brings me back to when I was a little kid at the house on punishment. It was like,
man,
game. All my friends live in the next city. I'm just in my room. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna make some stupid shit up. And that's like, people hating on TikTok, but how you gonna say you a comedian and then the next person who just a regular person got more content than you? They wanted. They and that. they gonna get the looks because they willing to do this shit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't on the Zoom shows at first. Actually, I was doing improv. I was enjoying that because I was like, I want to explore another form of comedy that I'm not used to, like being in the pocket with stand-up. It's like I feel very comfortable with stand-up. So it's like, let me challenge myself. Let me go somewhere else. I'm enjoying improv more than I've ever enjoyed improv in my life.
That's what's up. And I mean, all that shit gives you tools for the big thing, right?
Yeah. Because at some point in time, all the comedians that trying to get specials and on, gonna have to learn how to act.
Right.
That's where the money comes from. And we don't. I'm like, I've been telling motherfuckers. I was like, yo, we know Eddie Murphy, but we know him as an actor / comedian.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say Eddie Murphy, if you say stand up, what are you gonna say? Delirious and Raw? That's 2 hours.
Right.
The nigga been in the game almost 40 years.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. It's that work, man.
It's the work. It's the work. So I really enjoy this time to just be creative, enjoy myself. I've been working out. Like I said, I got this chain. So I was like, man, I got to get a chest for the chain. And it's a beautiful time. I didn't know how much like paying bills and rent was like such a burden on me. Because as soon as the shit happened, I was like, I ain't paying nothing until we in the clear.
Yeah.
And I've been living fancy free.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope. Wow. Man, so Papp, what advice would you give to somebody that's just on the come up with whatever they're doing? Because to me, you know, the way you talk about comedy is the same way I think about music, the same way I think about podcasting, like just being passionate about something. But what advice would you give to somebody like just pursuing a passion?
Find a field that you like, that you really enjoy, whatever really interests you. Ask yourself questions. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I think about that. Like when I got into comedy, it was just, I want to do stand-up. I had no real idea about it. So I went about it like real sketchily. But the more I got into it, the more you immerse yourself. You find your lane, and the work is always the most important part, is that you do the work. You got to do the work. You got to immerse yourself in this. You can't go tell people what you want to do. You got to show them what you want to do. Because no one, especially in LA, no one believes shit you got to say until you got some hard evidence. And so, and it really just every day, do something in your field. That should be the only thing that important to you. You know, all the greats, they talk about this shit. Kanye, I know people got problems with Kanye right now. I love Kanye personally.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's at a place right now. He just did the deal with Gap. And people really forget that he literally told y'all that I fucking made, 3 beats a day? No, 10 beats a day for 3 summers?
Yeah.
He telling you I worked. It was like, it ain't nothing else. I'm not talking about no women. I'm not talking about getting to Jay-Z. I got to make these beats because this shit is in me. Once I got this, I got a catalog. I can't be denied because I'm going to have a beat or something for anything you want.
Right.
And that's how you do it. And that's how you really do it. You got to make it your life. If you want to, you know, get to where people talking about greatness and all that shit, it's like you got to dedicate your life to it. You can't just wibble wobble up out of there and just think that you're going to play with it. then you're going to have, mixed results. And mixed results is usually going to fuck with you. You're going to be like, you're going to look at somebody else coming up and be like, man, how they come up before me? But you don't ask yourself, am I really out here making them 10 beats?
Right.
A day?
Right, yeah.
Because as soon as you tell a nigga, all right, do that, and they be like, oh, that sounds hard. That's when you just got to be like, oh, okay, well, all right. Yeah, man. You know what's harder? Going to work 5 days out the week when you don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, that's real as fuck. That's real, man.
So that's what I've learned over this time. It's like, yo, we got real control and power of our lives, but you also got to take responsibility for where it's at this point in time. And at any point, pick that shit up and get the ball rolling. If it's in your heart.
Right, yeah.
But, American way, man. We like to bitch. We like to bitch and, sit there and beg for it and stick our hands out. So it's all good.
Yeah, man. Shit, I got one more question for you. What is one piece of advice or one lesson that you could share with the listeners?
Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. I think that that resonates for everything I've said earlier. If you're not true to yourself, you'll be disappointed with yourself, which is going to cause a lot of conflict and anguish mentally. If you're not living the way you want to and in the fashion, if you feel any type of restrictions, constrictions, that will get to you at some point in time. I'm seeing it a lot with, a lot of people of color who have like white friends or immerse themselves in the white world. They're now really upset with their friends and they don't understand. It's like, but in all actuality, you mad at yourself because you let a lot of shit slide and go, and you were operating this way because you thought you were going to be rewarded with something for being, as they used to say in the old days, a sober-minded Negro. Yeah,
so, man. I was gonna make that the last question, but now you done opened up a little more, and man, I'm really in a place of like, I'm kind of just like, fuck racism on some real shit. Like that shit is not gonna control me and what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? And it is kind of mind blowing to me, like, rather than putting all this energy into that, for me, it's starting to look like, let me focus my energy on black people. Now, whatever comes out of that shit comes out of that shit. And it ain't like I'm saying fuck everybody else, but I love and focus on black people that much that nothing else matters to me other than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. I love that.
I've been peeping, like, just even you, like, I see your tweets and sometimes they be funny, but they be real as shit too. Like, damn, it was one that you posted and I ended up like posting and seeing other people sharing it. I was like, damn, that's so crazy. Like this, this nigga's like a comedian and he funny and shit, but then he had like some really like dope shit to say and people caught on to it. So yeah, man, that's the same thing I've been on. Like, rather than, cause I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a protest type nigga. I just don't be out at protests and shit. But at the same time, I know that I heal motherfuckers. So
yeah,
when you out at the protest, you come to me for the healing, and then you replenish to go back and do your duty or what you feel your duty to be.
Yeah. No, I ain't been. I don't go to protest. I went to one protest one time. That was Occupy Oakland, and there was too many white people out there, and it made me feel like I was like, hold up, this ain't. I don't think they honest about this situation. I'm like, yo, like I know a bunch of motherfuckers that got student loan debt, but all of a sudden because you can't pay your student loans. Now it's like we hitting the streets, we mad, the anger, and it's like, yo, like, it just felt weird. And now this one also felt weird. I've also worked security before, and I'm like, yo, I don't get down with massive, large crowds.
Dog, I swear I felt the same way, and it's kind of triggering for me because I think about New Orleans and like being in Mardi Gras and somebody shooting us or like just some crazy shit. And it's like, I don't want to be in that kind of space, and I don't care what it's for. Like, and that's just being real with you. Like, that shit ain't comfortable for me.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's but those people don't have that mindset. They want to, for one, I think a lot of people just wanted to get out the house.
I think so too.
I
went to the one in West Hollywood, and it felt more like a pride than it did a fucking, like, me and my friend Brandy, we kind of just rolled around there and just see what was going on. And we was like, man, this shit feels weird. Cause it's like, you know, it's supposed to be for George Floyd, but then you got people in like leather chaps and shit. Like,
yeah, and it just felt like it was a celebration of something, but it was like nothing has been gained, or it felt like the cause for it was lost. And I got a black woman that I've been with for forever. Now, I love her to death, and we have so many like pillow talk conversations, and I love like being able to have those conversations with her. So I've looked at the whole George Floyd situation differently, because I'm like, yo, Breonna Taylor is still there. It's still Sandra Bland. This isn't about one black man. This is about all of us.
Right.
All of us. So I don't want to be disrespectful to George Floyd, but it is bigger than him. And just putting his name on there, I feel is going to give a lot of people a way out once that certain situation and case is resolved. And it's like, and that's how we get back to having to protest and do these marches, is because over time, people will be like, oh, okay, it's good. Well, we went out for George Floyd, blah, blah, blah. And then another nigga will die.
Right.
We keep seeing it. It ain't stopped.
Right.
So it has to be bigger than George Floyd. It has to be something that's concrete. And I believe, you know, just doing your podcast, being a happy black man and living your life the way you see fit is a protest. Because that's what the opposition is really upset about. They upset that we are free and happy. We are able to have opportunities that they don't believe we should have.
Man, I agree with you, like, for real. And it's funny because I told somebody earlier today, like, you know, the other side wants to create black hurt, and I'm trying to create black joy, you know? So yeah, man. And I see you doing the same thing too. Like I said, I see some of your stuff that you starting to gear like to the times, and it's like, it's funny, but it's meaningful and it's purposeful. And that's dope to see, man.
Oh yeah, man. I that's why I love myself. I told you, I really do love myself, man. I was just, before COVID, we went up to Portland to do a comedy festival. And I stayed with my white homie. And one of my boys who's a comedian, he was like, damn. Because my boy, he got like a Tesla. He got a nice house. He got all this lovely shit. He was like, bruh, you know white. He's like, bruh, I didn't know you knew white people like this. The white homie literally goes snowboarding every day.
Oh, wow.
Snowboarding every day. Like, that was his shit.
Yeah.
So he was like, bruh, the way you be talking is like, I didn't know you knew white people like this. And I'm like, that's funny, because the reason why we cool is because I talk to him just the way I talk to you. I don't no punches. So they know, you know where I'm at. It's like, right. I white people, but I also got to speak on the shit I see and live.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle that, bro, then I really can't rock with you, because that's you let me know that there's something about my hardships bothers you in a way that you really don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I can say this shit, but I also I understand that, yo, I can treat everybody cool. But hey, if you white, I gotta let you know, like, yo, you know, you better look at yourself.
Right. Absolutely. As you should, as we should. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So keep doing this podcast, man. We just gotta be happy. I'm hearing a lot of motherfuckers talking about these black athletes going to HBCUs, and I like that idea. I just wish it was more thought out, because I don't like giving money to just like foundations and shit like that. I think you should just give it to a black person that you actually know and invest in their dreams. But I also feel like HBCUs, if we can get top athletes, then we also have to really invest in the facilities that's provided.
Yeah.
Because like we went to nice HBCUs.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I also went to Grambling State.
Yeah.
And it was a stark difference. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, like we gotta build these communities. Also, like I honestly do feel like these top entertainers and black people could donate time to these universities. It's like, you know, Dr. Dre, you can go do master class on the master class site, but you can also dip into, you know, Virginia Union.
I agree with you on that for sure.
Real tricks. You know, like these are the times where we have to band together in all the fields. And I only know that because I read about like the Harlem Renaissance and shit.
Hey man, so, you know, since we talking about it, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there too. But, you know, I was feeling like, what if like all black therapists took like a week out of every month to like give free therapy to black people, you know what I mean? Or anything of that nature where we give back, where it don't have to just be $1. You know what I mean? It don't just have to be money. Like you said, time can be more important than money.
Time is always more important. I learned that from Bill Russell.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's a lot of work that has to take place. And I think, you know, if the focus was shifted from trying to fight this to actually trying to heal this, then, you know, we may like we could heal ourselves so much that we may never experience racism again.
I mean, we're gonna heal ourselves so much that racism ain't gonna matter.
That's more what I meant. Yeah,
like, ain't gonna be no more.
It feel like a toxic relationship where you just in a bad relationship with a motherfucker that don't want to change, and it's like, what you gonna do? You gonna stick around and just like you like abuse? You know what I'm saying? Or you gonna get the fuck, heal yourself, and move the fuck on?
Yeah, and it sucks. And when I see them videos, it sucks because I be seeing niggas try to use so much restraint, and that's when niggas get logical and shit. And I'm like, bro, just sock this person, sock this mother, because that is the truth. They wilding because there ain't no consequence, bro.
Yeah.
By that the other day, I was like, hey man. When a kid, they always use that shit. When a kid touches the stove when the fire is on, they learn a lesson that's hot. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
If I could keep touching the stove with no consequence, I'm going to keep doing that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't believe in violence because I definitely do. But, you know, hey, I watch a lot of boxing, man. They say protect yourself at all times.
Yeah.
And you know, the one thing about boxing is there's so many strategies you can do, but one of the main strategies is you got to defend yourself.
Right.
So when it's coming at you, You got to learn how to defend yourself. We don't defend ourselves. We literally sit there and look at videos, like look at police, everybody else around us, like somebody do something. It's like at some point in time, you're going to have to throw that punch, whether it land or not. You got to let people know you're willing to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm loving this time. I'm ready.
That's hilarious, man. Man, where can the people find you?
I'm on Instagram, Pappy Van Johnson, Pappy Van Johnson. I got Revolt TV playing my stand up right now.
Okay.
All the time. Yeah.
Lord, you know you're the first famous person on my podcast.
Oh man, well, you know. The pleasure's all yours, man. Yeah. I love that because I'm in barbershops now.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think like I'm in barbershops now, but I've also been like, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
This is what we do this shit for.
Absolutely.
You work, and that next thing you know, you're going to have some notoriety, you're going to have some TV time, you're going to be doing the shit that you dreamed about.
Yeah.
But we going to be good, man. Any little niggas that need some guidance, tutelage, I'm always there. That's the crazy thing. Like, I just like talking to people because you learn a lot, you can give a lot of game, and that's really what we need. You remember me from school. I'm not a real what do they call it? A formal education type nigga.
Yeah.
I've always loved word of mouth and, sit down sessions and chop it up because you learn so much shit. And that's really why I even wound up in New Orleans. I was a Cali nigga.
True. Yeah.
I was a Cali nigga and I love Cali and shit was real popping. But I was like, yo, this don't feel like this is how all of life is. And I need to see something different. I need to experience something different. So I challenged my way of life. And I feel like I'm very much better for it. I'm doing podcasts now. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's why I say challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. You grow. Like you said, it's hard work. But at the end of the day, when you do something that you really believe in, you get to see the fruits of your labor. And, that's what I would recommend to every nigga. Go buy a plant. Go buy, not even a plant, go get a seed and a pot and some dirt.
It's funny you say that because that's actually where I was going after this. I'm going to buy a plant. So, yeah.
Yeah, because, you water that thing and you like, man, when this shit gonna pop up? And then that little bit of leaf come up and you be like, oh shit. You keep watering and some months, a year later, it's a big ass plant. And you like, yo, then you start realizing the work and the time to grow, for anything to grow.
Yeah. So
you start growing with it. When you water your plant, you go water yourself. You got to nourish the plant. You understand, I got to nourish myself. So it's like.
That's real, man.
Yeah, you don't got to have a child, a dog to understand that. I still got my dog, man. I ain't know the nigga was.
Wow. That's what's up.
But yeah, I don't know how he did it because I ain't.
That's like 15. Well, not 15. That's about 10, 12 years though.
Yeah. And he ain't been to the vet since the first.
Wow.
He been in all types of situations that you probably shouldn't have a pug in, but he's still here. He's still stumping. He actually real healthy.
That's what's up.
He got a son now.
Wow.
This shit is so stupid. It's so stupid.
That's a trip, man.
Yeah. So watching something grow that you take care of and you understand having to do that, I think it changes you.
Yeah.
It definitely. Because you put that time in. and you get to see a result that's more instant than, I guess, your career.
That's real, man. That's real as fuck. Shit. Well, I appreciate you coming through, Papp.
I appreciate you having me, man. Is we gonna take more breaths together?
Nah. That's the only breaths, man. But I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate y'all listening. This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Peace.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to this podcast and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let other people know what you think as well. If you want to get in touch with us, hit us up on all social media at The Art of Letting Go Podcast. Also, you can send me an email, theartoflettinggopodcast@gmail.com, or give us a call. Leave a message. We might play it on the show. 213-394-2773. Also, if you would like to support The Art of Letting Go, we got some really cool merch, as well as we're now on Patreon. You can find us, The Art of Letting Go Podcast. Subscribe to us. Thank you guys for listening. This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go.